Jack then walked up to Kenny and whacked him across the face, giving him a big slap. "Did I ask you to save those students? You let them get away. If you don't have any information, you know what will happen to you." While looking at the kids all safe out of the room, Kenny had a smile on his face, although Jack was unable to see this due to the mask covering his mouth. "Sir, it seems like there were a few of them. I'm not sure how many, but there were at least 2 of them. They claimed to be from Pure and were trying to save the kids." "Pure? They've been tailing me for months, but never acted out. This is a first for them. I thought I was safe here, so I didn't bring anything with me. We'll head back for now. I can't risk staying here any longer," said Jack. "But before we go, send a report to Duke. They want to save the kids that badly? Well, I won't let them have their way. If Duke is to find either of those 2 students, they are to be sent to me immediately. You understand?" "Yes, sir," they both said. As the 3 of them walked off, Logan's mechanical spider had done the same. He had listened to everything Jack uttered. After a few minutes, everyone returned to Logan's room. Vorden, Peter, Layla, Fex, Quinn, and Erin were all inside, but Erin was lying on the bed still under the sleeping spell. "We did it!" Layla shouted. "I can't believe we got them out of there." "Man, that big guy was scary," Fex said. "For a second I thought he wasn't going to give up. Also, he moved pretty quick for a big guy." "I wouldn't celebrate just yet, guys," Logan said. "It seems like we have a problem." Logan then played the recording of the mechanical spider. It stated that Truedream would order the school to bring Erin and Peter back if they were found. They had hoped to claim they were from Pure. Perhaps Jack would let the whole matter go and aim his anger at them, but it seemed to have the opposite effect. "So, what are you saying, Logan?" Vorden asked. "That we have to hide both Erin and Peter forever? We can't do that in the military base. That's just not possible. Sooner or later it will slip up." The group remained silent as each one of them thought about what to do. So far, they had managed to come up with a plan to get out, but this seemed to be the most complicated one. It wasn't like they didn't think this would happen, but the problem was they had concentrated so much on saving their 2 friends, they didn't think about what to do after. Of course, the school wouldn't just let them go. They knew the truth about Jack, so the best-case scenario was for them to end up in the dungeon, but now probably something even worse would happen to them if they were found out. Quinn's secret was kept, but at what cost? The anger of the Big Four, the loss of Erin's ability. As Layla looked around the room, she could see everyone had a look of defeat on their face. Even the genius Logan hadn't come up with a solution. She then looked at Erin, who was sleeping away, her dear friend who had looked out for her this whole time. Although Erin might not have seen her as a friend, Layla did. She couldn't let Jack get her hands on her. There was only one thing she could think of to get them out of this. "Guys, I have a solution, but please, I don't want you to hate me after this," Layla said. Layla's hands were visibly shaking and her legs wobbled. Her heart was so pounding loudly that she couldn't even hear her voice. "Is this the right thing to do?" she thought, but she had already articulated those words. Right now, all attention was focused on her. "Why would we hate you, Layla?" Quinn said. "If you have anything that can help us get out of this situation, then it will be fine." Layla looked at Erin on the bed one more time, contemplating if they'll understand or not. She finally decided to tell the others about her circumstances. "I know a place where a group of people will be able to keep her safe from all of this." She paused for a moment before saying the last words. "I'm from Pure. I was the one who wrote that letter." "I knew it!" Vorden shouted. "Of course she was hiding something. Why else would she willingly help and accept the truth of your identity? They probably wanted to use you for some reasons." "That's not true," Layla snapped back. "They don't even know about Quinn. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for any of this," Layla said as tears started to run down her face. Quinn then intervened, placing himself in between Layla and Vorden. Observing the situation, it seemed like Vorden was going to lash out at her any second if someone didn't interfere soon. He proceeded to lead her over to the bed and sat her down next to Erin. "Sorry guys, but can someone explain to me what or who Pure is?" Fex said, bearing a confused look on his face as he stood in the corner of the room. "I'm glad you asked," Logan said, spinning his chair around to procure a file. Then he opened it while uttering, "I had prepared for this after I saw Layla dropping off the note in the morning." "You knew?" Vorden said, surprised. "Why didn't you tell us?" "Was it important to the mission?" Logan replied. Regardless if she was part of Pure or not, it was thanks to her information that we were able to get those two out of there. True, she might have an ulterior motive, but why would she reveal herself now? There is no need to unless she truly wishes to help. Although Logan knew there was truth in his words, he couldn't help but think of the fact that she had kept it a secret for this long. It was contrary to Quinn's prompt revelation that he was a vampire. Something just didn't feel right about that, and the things he had heard about Pure weren't the best. In an instant, a projection was seen playing a myriad of different videos. It was mostly of people wearing a type of mask that covered their whole face, all with a figure of an angel that looked like it had its wings removed. It was the mark of Pure. The video showed multiple explosion attacks on certain buildings, and different factions were being conducted. It wasn't a pretty sight at all. Let me warn all of you, what you are seeing now is pretty biased. The only information I can get about them is filtered through the military. However, nearly everyone knows the basics. Pure has only one goal, to get rid of all abilities. They believe that the world and the system currently in place are wrong. Even before abilities were introduced, many complained about the gap between the rich and the poor. However, they feel like now, even the basic human rights don't exist to those with weaker abilities, Logan explained. Which is pretty stupid if you ask me, Vorden said. It was only thanks to those with abilities that we were able to battle the Dalki. If we get rid of them, what do they want us to do? There are only a few people who would be able to kill beasts without the use of abilities in the first place, to then later make equipment to fight them. That is, unless you're not human, of course. These reasons were why Vorden was so suspicious of Layla. It made sense to him. There exists a stronger being that didn't rely on abilities. Even though the vampires had different levels, Vorden wouldn't put it past Pure to not think ahead. Wait, there is something that I don't understand, Fex said. If Pure is a group of people who hate abilities and Layla is one of them, then why does she have an ability? They soon realized that Fex's words were true. It was a bit hypocritical of a group who hated abilities to have people within the place with them. Everyone then turned to look at Layla as they coveted to hear the answer. I didn't mean to deceive any of you. My situation here is quite complicated, Layla began to reason out. As Logan explained, you all know what our goal is. As of the moment, the world is in balance, but the main culprit of the system in place is the military. However, the only reason they can enforce the rules is because of Truedream. At the same time, Truedream is a blessing for Pure, since he's the only person that can take anyone's ability away. Layla sighed after her lengthy explanation as she gazed at every one of her comrades, continuing her speech after a few seconds.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.